this story broke. We can put the Variety headline up about Jimmy Kimmel being sidelined by ABC News. And this timeline is going to be very important for you to pay attention to, because already the alarm is being sounded about Trump's authoritarian crackdown on the media. I'm going to read a little bit from the New York Times story here. ABC announced on Wednesday evening that it was pulling Jimmy Kimmel's late night show indefinitely after criticism of comments he made on his Monday program about the motives of the man who is accused of fatally shooting the conservative activist Charlie Kirk last week. The abrupt decision by the network, which is owned by the Walt Disney Company, came hours after the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr, assailed Mr. Kimmel's remarks and suggested that his regulatory agency might take action against ABC because of them. In his opening monologue on Monday, Mr. Kimmel had addressed the killing of Mr. Kirk by saying, and you may have seen this, we hit some new lows over the weekend, and actually, why don't we just roll this clip? Here you go, S2.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
So I went back and looked. That was taped Monday. Kimmel Show was taped Monday. As of Sunday, Utah Governor Spencer Cox had pretty definitively weighed in and said investigators had been told that the suspect, Tyler Robinson's ideology was, quote, pretty leftist, and that he had been, quote, radicalized. And we knew that information was available to investigators. We knew that information, in addition to the fact, of course, that a conservative activist was assassinated in cold blood on a college campus in the middle of a speech about conservatism. I actually was fairly open-minded for the first 48 or so hours about who may have been behind this, given the weird irony posting that was leaking into the public from the suspect, and also just the fact that to Charlie's virtue, to his great virtue, some of his most bitter enemies were fringe radical weirdos who believe themselves to be of the right. So it was, of course, possible. But by the time Jimmy Kimmel taped this episode and made these abhorrent comments, misinforming his audience, this was all known. What a disgusting thing to do. And what a reckless thing for ABC to do. They had that information in front of them. And in the wake, I mean, this is within days of the historic collective national trauma of seeing a 31-year-old activist shot in the throat for speaking on a college campus. This is how Jimmy Kimmel reacted.